Welcome back to KION News at 11. Going back over to the Weather Center. The drive-in today, not too bad, Dan.
You know what? Got outside a little bit, felt the sunshine on my face. Felt pretty nice.
Sunshine on your shoulders.
There was a little of that too. I wasn't wearing a tank top today, if that's what you're asking. But if I was, these freckled shoulders would have enjoyed it, that's for sure. Anyway, there's probably a thought you didn't want in your head tonight.
And away from me.
It really does sometimes,
Just a little bit.
All right, let's take a live look from Dominicals on the Wharf tonight. We're waiting for that next round of rain after, okay, maybe not waiting for it. But it's going to be here tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to worry about it. We don't expect any severe weather. Yesterday, I mean, the wind really played out, didn't it? I mean, it was not a fun day wind-wise. I think the wind over the course of the day was about what I expected in Santa Cruz. It overperformed in the Monterey Peninsula, so winds were stronger than I was expecting, than it was showing in the weather models, and most other forecasters were expecting as well. I can't speak for everyone, but it was definitely windier in Monterey than I expected yesterday. And the tornado, I think, caught a lot of us off guard yesterday. So we are always learning here in the Weather Center and trying to do the best we can to make sure people understand the risks that are coming when these storms come through. And I will tell you that tomorrow the risks are very low. We have some light rain on the way as a cold front comes through the region. This is the storm system. It looks pretty impressive. I mean, it stretches all the way from British Columbia to Northern California. You can see the apparent area of low pressure offshore here. And some areas are experiencing some strong winds and heavier rain right now, but most of the energy is going to be directed to our north. So we're going to catch the cold front tomorrow, but we're going to catch the tail end of it. So by the time it gets here, it's going to be losing a lot of steam, and thus it's not going to be producing much in the way of a storm for us. It's basically going to be some light rain on the way through and not even much wind, maybe just breezy conditions. That's about it. So very low impact event tomorrow, unlike what we had yesterday. Our future track is showing a slow increase in clouds overnight as this system approaches. And initially we'll see some high clouds, but eventually some low to mid-level clouds as well. In the meantime, in valleys that aren't seeing much high cloud cover, it's possible we'll see some fog. We had some this morning across many of our southern valleys and in the Santa Cruz Mountains. The farther south you are, the better your chance of seeing valley fog, because you'll have a less chance of seeing high clouds that would prevent the fog from forming. So watch out for some areas of reduced visibility tomorrow morning. As we head around the bay tomorrow to start off our commute, 6 a.m., we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little drizzle, I suppose, but I don't think we'll see anything too widespread. As far as the rain, when it will be here, likely late morning, working its way into the Monterey Bay area as we head through that 10 to noon hour, I suspect, for places like Santa Cruz. Rainfall, generally light. It's possible there might be some brief moderate rain, but that's about it. So you might have to up the windshield wiper setting if you're heading out around lunchtime from the very slow one to like the moderate one, but we're not talking, you know, like no visibility because it's raining so hard. That's just not really on the table tomorrow. There's not a lot of moisture with this system. So this is lunchtime. By the time we get to around 2 o'clock, we've seen it move into Hollister, Salinas, maybe down to Big Sur as well. Still some showers lingering in Santa Cruz. 4 o'clock, I mean, we're starting to clear out in Santa Cruz, showers reaching down to King City, Soledad, still kind of lingering in Salinas, and by 6 p.m., most of us headed home from work tomorrow. Maybe a couple sprinkles around the bay, but otherwise looking at mostly cloudy skies. So again, this is going to come through around lunchtime for most locations, and wet roads will be the biggest hazard with it. Not really expecting much of an issue. Winds should be fairly light. They may be breezy at times, but that's about it. Now this will inject some moisture into the low levels, so tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, some more fog may be possible, and that may be even for some coastal cities. Total precip with this system, maybe 1/10 of an inch for coastal cities, upwards of 1/4 at the high end, and in the coastal mountains, perhaps 1/2 inch on the high end. And keep in mind, just yesterday we saw 3 inches in some places in the Santa Cruz Mountains, so this is going to be quite a bit less than that. Temperature forecast tomorrow, starting chilly, again in the Santa Cruz Mountain Valley, down into the 30s overnight, highs mostly in the 50s. We should be around 60 this time of year. It's going to be hard to get that anywhere unless you see a good portion of your day ahead of the front, which may be southern Monterey County, for example. In the north, 50s, Morgan Hill, Hollister, Prunedale, Aptos, Marina, 58 degrees. On over to the Monterey Peninsula, we'll see high temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, so kind of cool tomorrow again. And down south, okay, we'll see a few 60s. Once you get south of Salinas, you might hit 60 in Gonzales, 62 in King City, Bradley, our hot spot tomorrow potentially at 63 degrees. So for the next 7 days for coastal cities, Tomorrow's chance of rain will be followed by offshore winds, not strong ones, but enough that will bring warmish air back to the coast, dry air back to the coast. So air is going to dry back out. Temperatures are going to warm back up, at least during the day. We'll be in the upper 60s, closing in on 70 degrees in some areas as we head through Thursday and Friday. So there's actually some warmth coming as we head through the middle portion of the week. The next weather system after tomorrow will come through on Saturday. Latest trends are at being weaker, maybe something comparable to what we get tomorrow. Yesterday it looked a little more interesting. We'll see what happens. It's still quite a few days out and things can change, so make sure to stay tuned to my forecast and we'll give you the best info as it approaches. Inland areas also seeing a little fog Tuesday morning. After that, temperatures warm up, highs back close to 70 as we head into Thursday, Friday. Also, by the way, Saturday coming up, I want to say 1:20 in the morning. It's about between 1 and 2 in the morning. It's the winter solstice, so calendar winter, as I like to call it, begins on Saturday. Of course, meteorological winter, that began at the beginning of the month. Maxwell, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Dan.